Today, discover secrets from the Bible that help to radically transform you, spirit, mind, and body, and how just 10 days of eating biblically can jumpstart your plan to shed unwanted weight. It's an extraordinary health breakthrough on this episode of Jewish Voice.
Shalom and welcome to Jewish Voice, a program to help you to understand the Jewish roots of your Christian faith, Bible prophecy, and world events surrounding Israel. Do you set the same weight loss goals each year, but you never reach them? Do you try to eat healthier or exercise more, but you just keep putting it off? I know I do. Well, if you're exhausted from trying to control your weight and frustrated that you're not as healthy as you should be, don't turn the channel. Today's show will reveal solid steps, biblically based principles for losing weight and improving your health. All you need is 10 days to put these steps into action, and you'll be on your way to your own health revolution. Please welcome back natural health expert and New York Times best-selling author, Jordan Rubin. Jordan, great to have you back again.
Good to be here.
Thanks for sticking around for another week. I really appreciate it. Wow, look at this table. I feel healthier just being near all this stuff. Give us a quick recap. I'm sure that many people that are watching didn't watch last week. You need to watch last week's program. It was amazing. It will change your life. But give us a recap. You have an approach to weight loss that you say is blessed by God. Explain that.
Well, this is the Jewish roots of diet. 2,600 plus years ago, Daniel and three friends stood out among the crowd by eating what God told them to eat. And they looked better, they felt better, they had greater wisdom and understanding. And it all started with the decision to go against the world's plan and follow God's. This was a living sacrifice, as God's word says. And the best thing of all, Jonathan, when you follow God, it isn't really a sacrifice after all, as you can see from some of the wonderful things God has created for us to eat.
Now, you claim that it takes 10 days. What kind of results are people seeing in 10 days?
Last year, I had a revelation from God that He would give me a Daniel diet that was authentic, based on the Bible, of eating pulse and drinking water in a certain time frame, praying 3 times a day, and I got a group of people to do it with me. I was amazed.
Define pulse. I don't know if
pulse
most
is
people know
any
what pulse is.
plant food that you can put in the ground and it will regrow. So all of these are great examples.
Everything here is pulse.
Yes.
Nuts,
seeds, fruits, veggies. Not every fruit and veggie, but most.
Grains.
Absolutely. All reproduce itself. And when we eat those in a certain period of time and we drink only water for 10 days, anyone can do it, pray 3 times a day, we saw the average female lose nearly 8.5 pounds and the average man 14.5 pounds.
Not by depriving.
No,
but
people
eating
couldn't
plenty.
even finish the food.
It's what you eat and when you eat it.
I lost 18.5 pounds and I didn't need to lose weight. It was like it was impossible not to.
You really have put to practice what you preach. We have some photos. Let's pull up Jordan's first. Jordan, this is what you looked like before you caught this revelation from the book of Daniel.
Right, now let's be clear. This is not a weight loss testimony. I was sick, I was underweight, and the Lord actually healed me through diet.
You were actually on your deathbed.
I was.
At 19 years of age. Crohn's disease, what else? You had all kinds of
Rheumatoid
ailments.
arthritis, chronic fatigue syndrome, parasitic infections. I visited 69 medical experts until one told me to follow a biblical diet, which later became the Maker's Diet.
So you followed what you were taught, what you learned from Scripture, and here's what you look like after. That is pretty significant. Yeah, that is good. Maybe Daniel looked like that. Now, let's look at the next photos. This, I think, is Cecilia. Here's Cecilia. This is specifically with
Maker's Diet Revolution.
Maker's Diet
10
Revolution.
days. This is the first day, day 1.
And after 10 days of following this plan, here's Cecilia 10 days later, 10 pounds less. That's amazing. Now, this is more than a diet, right? You say that it will help you walk in favor and blessing. Explain that.
The Bible says that Daniel and his 3 friends didn't eat what the king's delicacies were. They were unclean meats, detestable things. by following God's plan, eating only pulse and drinking water, they looked better, they felt better, and they had greater wisdom and countenance, 10 times greater, according to the king's examination, than the best, most talented men in Babylon, and we can too.
Now, you're not saying that you eat pulse all the time. This is for a period, but you believe you can eat meats.
Absolutely.
You believe that you can eat many, many
Dairy,
different
milk,
foods.
honey, you name it.
Yeah, and plenty of it.
In a certain sequence, practicing building and cleansing, that's part of it. But these 10 days where people are getting great results, you're eating pulse, drinking water. We teach you how exactly to do it. And for the first time in 2,600 years, the secret is revealed. And what a great jump start to your health it is.
It really is. The ancient Jewish diet. We've got to take a quick break. When we come back, Jordan reveals what you should eat, what you should avoid eating, and it's all in the Bible.
Here at Jewish Voice, we are dedicated to proclaiming the gospel, the good news that Yeshua, Jesus, is the Messiah, to the Jew first and also to the nations. One way we do this is by providing life-saving medical help to some of the most impoverished and needy Jewish people in the world. Even more important than the physical relief our medical teams provide, it also opens the door for us to share God's love and the good news that Jesus is their true Messiah. Our volunteer medical professionals will be providing a clinic for eye surgery, glasses, dental procedures, and specialized medical treatments, all free of charge to thousands of men, women, and children, many of whom have never even seen a doctor or dentist. As we prepare to go, the only question remaining is, how many can we help? Time is of the essence, and your generous gift today can make you a key part of impacting the lives of the precious people of Israel's lost tribes. Will you help? We want to make an investment in your health. When you respond with a gift of $40 or more, we will send you the latest book from New York Times best-selling author and natural health expert, Jordan Rubin, called The Maker's Diet Revolution. This breakthrough nutrition and diet guide is unlike any other. What makes it so unique is its Hebraic roots. It's entirely based on biblical principles from the book of Daniel. It combines the Bible's ancient wisdom with modern-day science, and it focuses on your overall health, spirit, mind, and body. And if you call or click today, we'll also send you another one of Jordan's books, Live Beyond Organic. This informative book has answers to many of today's health challenges. It highlights a solid plan for changing your diet, improving your health, and it's full of healthy recipes and tips that can change your life. As an additional bonus, we want to send you our Jewish Voice Today magazine. It's a bi-monthly magazine that focuses on some really important topics pertaining to Israel, Bible prophecy, and the Jewish roots of your faith. Please call, click, or write now. And please be as generous as possible. When you respond, you'll be providing life-saving medical care to Jewish people in desperate need. And may God bless you for blessing the Jewish people. Today, discover secrets from the Bible that help to radically transform you, spirit, mind, and body, and how just 10 days of eating biblically can jumpstart your plan to shed unwanted weight. It's an extraordinary health breakthrough on this episode of Jewish Voice.
I'm back with New York Times bestselling author and health expert Jordan Rubin, who just wrote a helpful new book called The Maker's Diet Revolution. His claim, you can drop up to 14 pounds in just 10 days. Now, Jordan, your first book, The Maker's Diet, was a New York Times bestselling book. What is different about The Maker's Diet Revolution?
The new book's really a sequel. 10 years after The Maker's Diet, the Lord revealed to me simple tips that could absolutely transform your health and accelerate the results. And it's all based on thousands of years of biblical truth. And it seems to me, Jonathan, that anyone who does it gets results. I haven't seen one person try even the 10-day introductory program and not lose weight.
Jordan, I just thought of something. Unlocking secrets from the book of Daniel, 2,700-year-old secrets. And Daniel himself says, in the end times, knowledge will increase, and the secrets of this book will be open, in effect, is what he says.
Well, most of Revelation builds on Daniel's own understanding of God's plan. And Daniel was an amazing man of God, and his first act of courage and faith was to eat what God said to eat and avoid what the world told him was best. And that was important.
You said something last week that really, really struck me. I'd never heard it before. Only a couple of people in our audience have ever heard about it, and that's timing. When you eat, and the fallacy that we should eat a big meal in the morning, and you talked about eating within a certain period of time. I really encourage you to watch last week's program because it goes into detail on the period of time you should be eating, and the rest of the time should be cleansing. I think that was really fascinating to me. But we have a whole array of foods. These are pulse foods.
They're raw foods.
Raw foods.
Raw living food.
Explain raw food.
Raw is simple. Uncooked, untreated, unheated, unadulterated. Eat what God created for food. Now, I don't believe you should eat an entirely raw diet all the time, but during the 10 days, if you can do it, makes great cleansing and detoxification process on your body.
So if
and
you eat these foods,
too.
you're saying you will actually go through a detoxification.
You will. You're giving your body, your cells, the nutrients it needs and allowing your body to discard the waste from the environment, from what we put on our skin, what we put in our mouth. 400 times more toxic is our environment than just our great-grandparents. We can't even help but get exposed.
Does everything that you eat, should it be organic on
We
this
encourage
diet?
people to consume foods in their most
This
pure
is,
form.
by the way.
If you can consume organic foods, great. Local foods are great. But here's the fallacy. You can have organic brown cookies with white cream in the middle, and there's still brown cookies with white cream in the middle. I'd rather have non-organic broccoli than that. But organic is best. But if you don't get organic, we give you a list of foods that are best to eat not organic. We call it the Clean 15. Then there's the Dirty Dozen, which are the foods that are most sprayed and most heavily chemicalized, as it were. And I'm a farmer now, so I'm learning how difficult it is to produce food and do it organically.
But you eat
It
raw
is best.
foods during this 10 days,
During
and
this
you lose
10
it.
days.
Organic or not, you will lose the weight.
Oh, yes, will.
Okay, well, let's look at some of these bowls. First of all, we have berries, nuts, avocados, which I love. Many of us love. There's a lot of fat in this, I know.
The
what's
fat
the
that
first
makes you
bowl?
thin. Well, these are just examples of some of the raw foods you'll eat on the 10-day Daniel diet. We make sure that you combine fruit or vegetable with fat, and it actually makes you thin.
So you're saying this is good fat, and you'll lose weight?
Great fat. I could
eating
talk a whole show
avocados.
about avocados. And these other plates illustrate different colored foods. And there's a reason. These pigments that make certain foods different colors, beta-carotene in the carrot. There is something called lycopene in a tomato. There are anthocyanins in berries. You don't have to remember all these things, but this is what makes colorful foods colorful, and they all do something different for the body.
You make the statement, eat your colors. Eat your colors. So is that because each food has different beneficial
Absolutely.
qualities?
Absolutely. The darker purple and blues help the heart. The greens help the urinary tract. The white help the immune system. It's amazing what God did. He wants us to combine all the colors in our fruits and our salads. Eating your colors ensures you get the widest array of antioxidants.
So these are divided into different colors, like you have garlic. Do you eat raw garlic?
Sometimes. I prefer it actually fermented, but that's for another show. But
Yeah.
yes, I like raw garlic.
But look,
I love
ginger,
coconut. Love
coconut's good
bananas.
for you.
Coconut's great for you.
Okay, there's been some disagreement about that, the coconut oil, but it's very healthy.
Very
I'm reading
healthy.
now. Now, you don't advocate a strictly vegetarian diet. You believe you can eat meat.
Yeah, I actually raise beef cattle and I have a dairy farm. So yes, I do. Biblically speaking, animal foods are healthy. We've been eating them for thousands of years. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were shepherds. Their entire diet was based on meat and dairy. So after the 10 days, we tell you the meat that God says to eat.
So 10 days you're eating raw foods. Now, raw foods are different than pulse foods, or the same?
They're the same. Well, pulse can be raw or cooked, but we prefer it raw.
Okay, so we're eating the raw foods. We're detoxing our bodies. And then you advocate eating meat, but the right meat. You talk in the book about meat to eat and meat not to eat.
Very important. 2 chapters of the Bible, Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14, are almost entirely comprised of meat-eating suggestions. And guess what? The old Jewish adage, I eat kosher in my home as long as it's not a Chinese restaurant, doesn't cut it anymore. God was serious when he said not to eat pork and shellfish. And I have something to help people remember in case they forget. I call it Biblical Eating Rule 101. Thou shalt not eat anything that Jesus cast demons into.
What about those that would say all foods are clean, everything is good? You know, those that say that this is legalism, dietary laws. You're saying that this is more than just keeping separate or the law.
No.
There's something to it.
There was a study in 1953 that showed the animal things, I won't even call them foods, that God called detestable actually are more toxic than those that he said to eat. I believe that God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Jesus didn't declare all foods clean, and even if he did, pork and shellfish, according to the Bible, are not food.
This is not for legalism. You're not saying you must keep the law. You're saying it's been proven that unkosher food is unkosher for a reason, for a health reason.
It is, and people say, but Jordan, can I eat junk food, filth, trafe, as we call it in the old country, and still get to heaven? And you've heard it before. Yes, you can, and you'll get there a lot
faster.
Sooner.
Yeah.
It's God's plan. He gives us a plan for marriage. He gives us a plan for finance. He gives us a plan for eating, farming. We can do it wrong, but if you try to break God's principles, it'll end up breaking you. It happens time and time again.
Jordan, some quick principles. We just have a couple of minutes left. Some shopping tips. Foods that you can get very expensive. Labels can get confusing. Just a couple of shopping tips.
Well, eating local is great. Do you know there's farmers everywhere? We don't connect with them because we go to a store, but you can find local farmers markets. You can find local farmers. Eat local. And certain things are more important to eat organically than others. I believe if you eat the right foods, you will be satiated and you will save money. You cut out a couple of meals out and instead eat at home, but eat healthy foods. And guess what? Teach your kids to do it too. Bring mealtime back to the center of the family. Enjoy the food, consume it, and know that God already blessed it before it got on your table.
One last question. Obviously, these are foods that look healthy. We all know they're healthy. 2 or 3 foods that are absolutely do nots. Thou shalt not.
The first 3, number 1 is pork and shellfish, detestable meats. Number 2, artificial sweeteners, pink, yellow, or blue packets. Instead of diet, remove the T, and you wouldn't consume dye soda now, would you? Number 3, hydrogenated oils found in baked goods, cookies, crackers. Anything you get at a bakery that has 100 ingredients, don't eat. That's another rule. Thou shalt not eat anything with 100 ingredients. There's not that many healthy ones.
Jordan, great stuff. Be sure to get yourself a copy of Jordan Rubin's breakthrough book, The Maker's Diet Revolution. This book will motivate you to jumpstart your overall health. It'll help you to shed unwanted pounds and radically transform your life for the better. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Don't forget it. We'll be right back.
Here at Jewish Voice, we are dedicated to proclaiming the gospel, the good news that Yeshua, Jesus, is the Messiah, to the Jew first and also to the nations. One way we do this is by providing life-saving medical help to some of the most impoverished and needy Jewish people in the world. Even more important than the physical relief our medical teams provide, it also opens the door for us to share God's love and the good news that Jesus is their true Messiah. Our volunteer medical professionals will be providing a clinic for eye surgery, glasses, dental procedures, and specialized medical treatments, all free of charge to thousands of men, women, and children, many of whom have never even seen a doctor or dentist. As we prepare to go, the only question remaining is, how many can we help? Time is of the essence, and your generous gift today can make you a key part of impacting the lives of the precious people of Israel's lost tribes. Will you help? We want to make an investment in your health. When you respond with a gift of $40 or more, we will send you the latest book from New York Times best-selling author and natural health expert, Jordan Rubin, called The Maker's Diet Revolution. This breakthrough nutrition and diet guide is unlike any other. What makes it so unique is its Hebraic roots. It's entirely based on biblical principles from the book of Daniel. It combines the Bible's ancient wisdom with modern-day science, and it focuses on your overall health, spirit, mind, and body. And if you call or click today, we'll also send you another one of Jordan's books, Live Beyond Organic. This informative book has answers to many of today's health challenges. It highlights a solid plan for changing your diet, improving your health, and it's full of healthy recipes and tips that can change your life. As an additional bonus, we want to send you our Jewish Voice Today magazine. It's a bi-monthly magazine that focuses on some really important topics pertaining to Israel, Bible prophecy, and the Jewish roots of your faith. Please call, click, or write now. And please be as generous as possible. When you respond, you'll be providing life-saving medical care to Jewish people in desperate need. And may God bless you for blessing the Jewish people.
I want to show you a tribe in Zimbabwe, in the bush of Zimbabwe, that has actually retained Old Testament traditions and rituals, get this now, for over 2,500 years. They're called the Lemba. We recently held a wonderful outreach to provide medical care, eye care, dental care, medicines, eyeglasses, and it was people just like you that made a difference in their lives. Take a look.
In one of the most remote areas of southern Zimbabwe, a team of 51 volunteers were joined by 120 national workers. And together, they just finished one of the most challenging and rewarding Jewish Voice outreaches to date. In a week full of both work and ministry, the Lord's hand was clearly seen as Jewish Voice conducted its very first medical outreach to the impoverished Lemba Jewish community.
We've seen children who couldn't speak, they couldn't hear, they couldn't do anything. I'm shocked. And then they can speak and they can hear and they can say their names. Babies that there was this 18-month-old baby that couldn't even stand up or sit up, nothing. And then it had witchcraft bracelets on its wrist. They were cut off and the baby sat up immediately. I mean, eyes to see with adults. I've seen so many miracles. My heart is just filling up. I'm forever going to be changed over this entire experience. It's the best thing that has ever happened to me.
In the afternoon, I was starting to feel pretty tired. My compassion level for patients was dropping. And all of a sudden, the nurse came into my room and said, "Can you see this patient outside?" And I said, feeling tired, "Well, can't they carry the patient into my room?" And she's like, "Well, she looks pretty sick." So I went outside and I go up to this cart that is being drawn by two donkeys. Near death look on this young female who is dying from AIDS. And I find out that she's come 8 kilometers to seek help. And it was kind of like a slap upside my head because 2 minutes before that, I'm in my room feeling sorry for myself. And that was just God saying, "How do you feel now?" And I didn't know what to do. I see a dying woman and I can't help her. But as a man of God, I can share love. I can show compassion. And that's not easy for me to do, but God working through me made it very easy.
The Lord is looking down on this with favor, and He's looking down on this that He loves culture and He loves diversity. And I had such a warm, wonderful feeling that the Lemba here are very gentle and loving people, and that the Lord has not forgotten them, and that they have retained as much as they possibly can of their culture and of their Jewishness.
These outreaches to some of the remotest areas of the world to help Jewish people are absolutely incredible. They are life-changing. We would love to have you join us on one of our next medical outreaches. To volunteer, you can email us at outreach@jvmi.org. Again, email us at outreach@jvmi.org. We'll be right back.
Come with us to the land flowing with milk and honey. Jonathan Bernis and his family want to extend a personal invitation to you to join them in Israel in 2014, November 29th through December 10th, for the Jewish Voice 2014 Israel Tour.
You'll experience a land filled with rich history and culture as you walk where Yeshua walked and watch the Bible come to life. You'll visit Jerusalem and the site of the ancient temple, the Sea of Galilee, Nazareth, and the Garden Tomb. While in the Holy Land, Jonathan Bernis will also give you the opportunity to rededicate your marriage vows on the Sea of Galilee. And he'll lead you in biblical teachings at historic locations you've read about in the Bible. Visit our website, www.jewishvoice.org, or call 800-299-YESHUA right now for more information. And make plans to come with us to Israel.
Since 1967, Jewish Voice has been dedicated to proclaiming the good news that Yeshua, Jesus, is Messiah and Savior to the Jew first and also to the nations. Now, one way that we do this is by helping some of the most impoverished and needy Jewish people in the world. We've been able to demonstrate God's love by providing these people with dental care, medical care, eye care, medicines, eyeglasses, even eye surgeries, all completely free of charge. But most importantly, we proclaim the gospel. And it's through your faithful support that we're able to make a difference in their lives. As our way of saying thank you, I'd like to send you Jordan Rubin's latest book, The Maker's Diet Revolution. People who have followed the biblical life-transforming health plan in this book have experienced weight loss. They've recovered from chronic disease, just like Jordan did from Crohn's disease, for example, and they've experienced emotional and spiritual growth. This book will help improve the quality of your life, spirit, soul, and body. In addition, I also want you to have another one of Jordan Rubin's books. It's called Live Beyond Organic. In today's day and age, the standard of what is considered healthy is continually changing, and it can be really confusing to navigate through it. In this book, which goes over and beyond just calorie counting, Jordan uses a biblical perspective to share different foods, drinks, and recipes that are really healthy. And he also covers those that can naturally heal you. It's a real eye-opener. And as an additional bonus, when you order these products, we'll give you a subscription to our Jewish Voice Today magazine. This is a bi-monthly magazine about some really important topics pertaining to Israel, Bible prophecy, and the Jewish roots of your faith. It's a great resource, and I want to get it into your hands today. And remember, when you get these gifts by standing with us, your support will be used to help some of the most impoverished Jewish people in the world. Hey, by the way, we're on Facebook now. You can check us out by going to facebook.com/Jewish Voice, and then be sure to like our page and stay up to date on everything happening here at Jewish Voice Ministries. Well, as I leave you today, I want to remind you, as I do in every program because it's so important, the Bible exhorts us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They shall prosper that love thee. So if you want to prosper, pray for Israel. Well, until next time, this is Jonathan Bernis saying shalom and God bless you.
Jewish Voice is made possible by the support of friends and partners like you.